Off Clibber. Hi, friends. Darth Momo here. Here to talk about Star Wars Tales of the Empire. I apologize for being a little late. It was May 4th. I always watch A New Hope on May 4th, and then I had a couple errands, I had work, etc. So I finally got to watch all 6 episodes, and this is what I have to say. It was alright. I'd give it maybe a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't say they were anything phenomenal. Um, I would definitely say I still prefer the Dooku stuff that we got from Tales of the Jedi over both of these, but I didn't think they were bad by any means. Um, let's start with the Morgan Elsbeth stuff. I'm gonna be honest, Morgan Elsbeth is not a character I really care about. Um, so those ones weren't as interesting for me. It was cool to see Grievous again. I mean, he was only on screen for about a minute, so, but it was still cool to see him. The animation is peak. Grievous looked awesome. And he was pretty scary too. And then, as for the second episode, yeah, it was cool to see Thrawn and Rook. That took me by surprise. Rook and Captain Paleon. Those were cool cameos to see. Um, and the only thing I don't like about that one, though, is I don't like the idea that Morgan Elsbeth is the one who came up with the TIE Defender. I like that was Thrawn's idea. Um, I guess, I mean, it makes sense that there has to be some reason Thrawn would be interested in Morgan Elsbeth, but I don't know. I don't like that they took that from Thrawn. I like that was his idea as opposed to the magistrate Morgan Elsbeth. As for the third one, it was all right. Now for the Barris stuff, what we are really here for. The first episode was kind of cool. Darth Vader looking great in that animation. I still prefer his Rebels design. I know I'm probably in the minority on that one, but I thought this was a better design. Or a good design too. To me, it looks different than the Clone Wars finale design. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's the same thing. But I didn't care too much for his Clone Wars design. But I like this more than the Clone Wars one. As for the Grand Inquisitor, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I don't really care for his design in Clone Wars, and same with Thrawn too. I don't really care the Rebels originating characters. I don't really care for the Clone Wars designs. Um, I prefer the Rebels designs better. The Grand Inquisitor just looks weird in the Clone Wars animation. And then the second episode with Barris had her redemption, which I think that's interesting that they chose to go down that route. I know, obviously, everyone's like, "Oh, she fell to the dark side in the Clone Wars," but it's like her her speech critiquing the Jedi was saying that they had lost their way. Obviously, she wasn't acting right, but I don't think that the dark side was necessarily the path she was wanting to go down or heading down. So I kind of like how they handled her and gave her kind of a redemption. And then the third one has her saving a kid from the Inquisitor, and then she helps the Inquisitor turn back from the light, the fourth sister. So I'm guessing that one takes place after Kenobi. Yeah, it was okay. I don't like that it left it on a very ambiguous note, because that was kind of the whole point. It was like, hey, let's answer what happened to Barriss Offee by leaving another, if even more ambiguous ending for her. So we'll see where that goes. I have to guess. I could be wrong, but I have to guess when she sends the kid to a quote unquote old friend. I have to guess that's Ahsoka. I could be wrong, but I have to guess that's probably who that is. The only other thing I really want to address is contradictions with the comics and the books. I didn't really pick up on anything as far as Morgan Elsbeth's story went. Although I'm confused if she's a human, and if she's a human, why there was a human with the Night Sisters. But the one I kind of have a bigger issue with is when it comes to the Inquisitors. The comics and the books kind of established that they initially set up base on Coruscant, and their Fortress Inquisitorius on Nur wasn't around for a little while. It took a couple years to get that built, obviously. But now here we see that they're right there. But then like the comics that take place shortly after Revenge of the Sith have the Inquisitors we know. You know, the fifth brother, the seventh sister, the eighth brother, the ninth sister. There's the 10th brother too. But then like none of those Inquisitors are around. And instead we have Marok, who we still don't know who he is. And we have Birdman, second or the sixth brother, question mark. I still don't know what they're doing with him, and that's another big issue that they screwed up with the comic, or with the comics and the books in the last round of Tales of the Jedi. So that was frustrating. But that wasn't as big as some of the retcons in the last Ahsoka one and Tales of the Jedi. So all in all, like I said, like they were fun stories, but they weren't amazing in my opinion. I give them a 7 out of 10, and I leave it at that. But thank you guys for joining in. I'm curious what you guys think the next Tales will be. If I had to guess, maybe Tales of the Bounty Hunters. Maybe they'll do some of that Cad Bane stuff from the Clone Wars, or explore other bounty hunters. Or maybe we'll get something else. Who knows? Otherwise, thank you guys for joining in. Darth Momo out, and may the Force be with you. Always. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, comment down below and hit that like button. Oh, and check out some of my other videos. I'm sure you'll find them a delight.